Can you guys feel it? Wait, seriously, can you guys feel it? All right. Sorry. Just had to get that out of my system. So I thought I would tell a rock and roll story since this is CMJ, and because it's true, in addition to my unstoppable show business career, I'm one of the greatest rock musicians of all time. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but I do still have a rock band with a bunch of other aging white guys, and we would just kind of get together and play when we can, whenever. And but somehow we got asked to tour Japan against all odds. We got an email one day saying, Dave, do you guys want to come over and tour Japan? I was like, yeah, rock those people so hard. And I call up the other guys in the band. We got on a plane with our guitars and our tightest pants and our genitals and everything. And we just flew over to Japan to start rocking people. Pretty much like wherever the people of Japan just needed their asses handed to them by our unstoppable rock and roll ass-kicking machine. I would just show up and just, kick them in the nuts with the compositions we had written and our spirit, when everyone could get off work and get babysitters and stuff. And I don't know how many of you have ever been to Japan before, but I had never been there before, and I can honestly say it's the most awesome and amazing place on earth. It's like super beautiful and futuristic, and everyone's weirdly excited about everything all the time. There's like a higher usage of exclamation points per capita, and there's so many wonderful things about Japan, but my favorite thing, I think the best thing, is the toilets. And it's not like here in America, where we have one basic kind of toilet. And I'm not complaining, like we have a fine toilet here, like I have a decent enough track record with it. But anyway, in Japan they have like 4 or 5 different awesome toilets, and I would just use them like wherever and whenever possible. And my favorite toilet I want to tell you about, I'd seen it the whole time we were over there, but I never thought I had the level of privacy or intimacy I needed to really go to town on this thing. Until we finally got to Tokyo, the last stop of the tour, and I finally had my own hotel room. And it had one of these toilets in it. And this toilet, like, to the naked eye, it looks pretty much like a regular toilet. But then on the side, there's this sort of a command center, sort of like on a jet fighter. And you know how in Europe they have the bidet? It's sort of like a European, like ass blasting machine. Well, I had seen those before, but I never bothered to use them because I figured, like, if I wanted my ass to be all wet and drippy, like, I never would have bothered to go into the bathroom in the first place. But anyway, in Japan, they combine the toilet and the bidet into this one futuristic thing I can't even wrap my head around. And our last show of the whole tour is like 2 hours away. I know this is no time to be getting into trouble, but I figured this is it. This is my time to shine. It's now or never. And the guys are all waiting downstairs for me, but I'm like, I walk into the bathroom, and I shut the door behind me, and I sit down, and I use the toilet. And I'm pretty far along in the transaction when I look down on the command center thing, and there's this button which has like what looks like the letter M on it, right? And there's like these water droplets coming down, and that's like the butt button, right? And then above it, there's like this volume knob or something. I just like crank it up as high as it'll go because I'm just like, I'm on vacation. Anyway, so I hit the butt button, this jet stream comes. I don't know if there was like an electronic eye on this thing or what that like scanning me, but I hit the butt button. It just like found me right where I needed to be found. And up until that point in my life, I never given much thought, or like, oh, if I get blasted in the anus with water, what temperature and water pressure do I want it to be? But it doesn't matter because it's Japanese. I figured that out for you too. As it turns out, it's exactly 72 degrees. And it's not so much like being like violently poked in the anus. It's more like just kind of gently tapped in the anus over and over. It's beautiful. So I just start hitting the butt button over and over again, like 10 minutes, 20 minutes. And then after like 45 minutes of this, I'm like going in and out of consciousness and everything. I'm drenched in sweat. And I decide to look down on the command center thing. Again, there's this other button, and it's got like what looks like the silhouette of a lady on it. And that's like the lady parts button, right? And I'm thinking like, well, I'm not a lady. You know, and I'm like, I don't want to confuse the technology. I wasn't even sure how the electronic eye would assess the situation, but then I'm just like, when am I going to start living my life? So I close my eyes again, and I hit the lady parts button, and it just like, this jet stream comes out, and it gets me like right, I don't know if we can say this on the radio, in the taint, I think it is. I know, and you're thinking like, you spend your whole life, you're thinking, well, I don't want anyone blasting me in the taint with water, don't do that. But then you do get blasted in the taint with water, and then you're like, how did I go my whole life without getting blasted in the taint with water, like every single day? And I'm just like, and I'm just on, and you know, so I start hitting the taint button over and over again. I go back to the butt button, I go back to the taint button, I go butt, taint, butt button. And finally, after like 2 hours of this, I start to see a bright light coming, and I'm floating above my own body. And one of the guys in the band burst into my room, and he said, come on, we gotta go rock Tokyo. And I pulled out my pants, and I marched out of there. And I rocked Tokyo with a cleaner ass and taint area than anyone that's ever rocked Tokyo before. It was incredible. Thank you.
Defining the level of the room for us here in the Greene Space tonight.